next item in the junk pile is another little spoon, and I don't even need my loupe for this one. I can see that it's marked nickel silver, and you know, nickel silver means only one thing, and that is it means brass or white brass. And same thing on German silver, English silver, Brazil silver. You see those markings. I think I've seen some Colombia silver. Well, they're just, I don't know, they're like old-time scams where they wanted to add some perceived value to the piece by naming this certain type of silver that is just a farce. Because they don't actually contain any silver and are just silver plated. Camel collectibles. Well, Camel collectibles have really suffered in the last few years. Used to, there was pretty good merchandise. They're not so much good merchandise anymore. In fact, some Camel advertising lots, people even do not even want to pay shipping for them. The Camel zippos have held up extremely well, and some of the rarer Camel pieces I've also done decent with. So, you know, that's something you could look out for and not pay too much for. It's a little antique Turkish pipe, hookah type of a pipe, and some of these antique drug-related paraphernalia. I have had some, it's been a few years, but had done really well on a collection of antique hash pipes from Turkey and from the Orient that I had ran across at a garage sale, actually. It's probably been 15 years ago. Did just incredibly well. So, you know, that's something too. You could accumulate in groups. I would recommend that if there's some kind of residue on these items, to clean them up, because you know, you don't know what crazy stunt somebody might pull on you in that respect when you're selling, you know, an antique, and hell, it might have real, you know, antique opium resin in it. So, you know, you know, they might come and arrest you or something. I would get that out of there before I sold it, and say, you know, that it's antique, so everybody knows what page everybody else is on. Here's a little piece of sterling, little sterling brush. I'm not sure why they call this repose. Sometimes they call it repose pattern, sometimes repose pile, but it's a basically metal art work, and it's hollow-ware as well. And you know, figuring the end weight of these pieces is pretty difficult. You know, you've got a third of an ounce handle here, and probably a third of an ounce here. You want to watch that as an estimation, because some of these can be a lot lighter than others. Some of them can be a lot heavier than others. These have a fairly decent collector following, and so you may be able to sell these just as pieces. I'd recommend them in sets. Matching sets would be best. And here's a great item, but the picker didn't take care of it, so he's damaged it to the point where it's worthless. And it was an antique table lighter, and made of sterling. Luckily for me, I have its sister piece, which was a cigarette holder, bulk cigarette supply holder, that he had sold to me a few months earlier. And so I will probably marry up the lighter with the cigarette holder and turn the cigarette holder into a lighter holder, providing that the lighter fits it correctly. But you know, safe handling of a piece from the time you buy it to the time that you get a chance to assess what it is that you've bought is very important. I once bought some Austrian porcelain statues, and they were some royalty riding a white stallion, and there was two of them. Well, due to a lack of care on me or whoever was handling the piece before I had a chance to market it, one of the pieces got broke and the other piece also got broke, but one piece was only slightly damaged. The other piece was completely destroyed. And so when I sold the damaged piece, it brought $555 on eBay. And having, after the fact, done a lot of research on the pieces, had I had the entire set, it made them extremely far more valuable. And because over the years, most of them had been destroyed, like one of mine had, and even the one that I had remaining had been damaged significantly, and that just destroyed the resale value. But had I not broken the one, then instead of receiving $555 for a damaged one, I would have received very likely $3,600 for the two of them in perfect condition. So quite regrettable. Now, I bought them for like $30, I believe, at an auction, and so I did fine on them. Had I used any less care with them, I might have lost all of it. But you know, porcelain and glass items, you must use care, and as we just seen on the hollow-ware, you know, you got to use care on just about all this stuff, from the time you acquire it to the time you assess it and market it, or you can really damage your profit. Here's a Gilley's nightclub, Pasadena, Texas belt buckle.